We just unloaded 120 blocks of Nudura in the dark. Here it is Wednesday morning. We poured last night, so rock and roll, baby. 120 blocks. I think there's 30 corners. Whew, in the dark. Sun's not up yet, but we're rolling. We've only had one cup of coffee so far this morning. Here's the blocks. There are quite a few different ICF manufacturers out there. We chose to use Nudura ICF products for a couple of reasons. The blocks are larger than their competition. They measure 18 inches tall by 8 feet long. This allows us to use fewer blocks in our build. They also ship collapsed, so that's more efficient. But more importantly, our local building supplier, Alpine Lumber, is a distributor. We can get deliveries quickly. So the rebar is going to go into these little notches here. And this is universal. It can go upside down or right side up. You got to line everything up so that these pins lock into place. See, they've got little teeth on them. So when you put the block on top of each other, or put the next block up, it locks into place on top of each one of these things. So you got to line all those up with all the other blocks. That's part of the challenge, I guess. Is if you're doing cuts, then you got to line them all up. But here's a typical shipped corner. You know, it's collapsed. And basically you just work it back open. So here's the piece. And it has some little guides. It's got rounded corners or rounded edge, and it slides straight into the block when you got it at the right spacing. And locks in like that, and now the block is locked. So that's pretty cool. But here we go. Concrete's just a little warm still. Not bad. See how it's already separated from the board? It's got a little crack around the outside, so that means it's shrunk just a little bit, I suppose. But yeah, these boards will come right off. We've got all of our rebar in place. They're supposed to be here at some point today to take their boards off. And then they're going to strike a line and we'll start stacking blocks. And the doggy's up here. What are you doing up there, puppy? Dog. Anywho, here we are in the morning, the next morning. What are you doing? What are you doing? You running? Are you running? We'll go run. Yeah, go. Where's your ball? Go get it. Yeah, go get it. Silly dog. We're doing the first course here, and that's the most important course because we got to fit it between the rebars. We got to be perfectly square and the right dimensions in all the different directions. So a couple things I've learned already that helps a lot. These things fold out, you see, and it really helps to get about in the middle with your thumbs on each side and just start the process of it working its way open, and then you can push it open and it'll swing open. So that they have them swung that way for shipping. And so once you do that, then you lay it down here against your last one, and you get an idea where your poles are to see if it's going to fit or hit a web or which side you're going to have to be on. Looks like a couple of them are tight. It's going to be tight. This one here I got to be on this side of, and this one here I got to be on that side of. So what I'll do is I'll bend it just a little to help. That one's bent at the bottom. We'll have to see. I'll bend it just a little to help. And then we'll slide her down and see what we gotta do. Look at that. Pretty good. That one missed that one. That one missed, that one missed, that one's good, that one's good, that one's good. So I'm not too worried about how straight they are just yet. We're just trying to get them in place around all these blocks. Because there might be one in a really goofy spot. We might have to move the whole thing an inch or something to get it to fit. So that's why I want to do this whole perimeter, just to see where we're at, make our measurements, and get another block. So here we go with another block. And again, you just spread it a little bit and then get it square. This one happens to have the Nudura logo on it, so we'll probably, it's going to be underground so it don't matter. But here we go, we're mocking it up. Clear, 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 and clear. I got to be on that side of this one. So we'll end up putting it over. No. Yep. That side of that one. It should be just that easy. But sometimes these are not in the right spot. Nope, missed it. Nope, missed it. So yeah, now we get a tape measure and measure this. Actually measure that whole thing, and then we'll measure what this gap is. Got my first wall built. First set of blocks. I had to fix all these rebars, get them straight sticking, and to get the fit in between all the webbing. And here's what we're going to do is I'm going to measure this first course and see if it's what it's supposed to be. So yeah, hang on a second. Darn it. Yeah, this says 72'1". Should be, I thought it was 70'1", 11 1/4. So we are officially 1 3/4 inches long, at least on my tape measure. Block count worked out good though. Yeah, I know it's not straight because it's not really set yet, but if you look down, all the rebars need to be pretty well straight up and down, and they kind of are. I got a couple down there that I got to fix. But the idea here is I want to get the full first course all the way done and check all of our dimensions just to make sure we are what we are, because I cut exactly a block in half, but each block is about 3/16 long. So I don't know. They didn't measure, or they didn't say that in their nomenclature. They said everything's exactly 8 feet. So if you go 9 blocks, it's almost 10 blocks. That's 10 3/16 times 10. That's, what is that? 30/16. That's 1 inch and 1 3/4 inches. So curious. We'll have to do the math. This is where it gets hard. You see how this bar here is touching or almost touching this web? So that means I can't move this block very far that way. You know, and that's kind of what happens, is these rebars were put in fairly randomly. And so some blocks it works really good and some blocks it doesn't. Like that block there was pretty much maxed out. These ones here look pretty good. I can not trip over the rocks. But like here's one that's touching down there. So we need to try to bend it as much as we can if we needed to. And that's what happened was I had them set, but then I couldn't get to where I needed to get. So that's where I'm at, is I had to reset some of these blocks. As I had to move almost an inch that way over here and maybe a half an inch that way over there. This way was pretty good, but these ways were a little bit cattywampus. So I'm real happy where we're at. Like I said, I'm gonna start sticking rebar in here and we'll start making the next course go. You have to have a minimum of 29 inches of overlap for this size of rebar. And the way it works out, we're about 32. We got about 32 inches of overlap. My neighbor Doug, contractor Doug, lent me a laser that we're measuring where our corners are, because I got to set these corners and we're measuring them relative to our string lines, because that's what they built this thing off of. So I'm assuming the string lines are pretty good because they crisscrossed them. I've got too much dirt in the middle to do a proper crisscross until I get about 3 blocks high. Should be about 3 blocks high. And I need 2 blocks to start getting level. But first off, I got to set my corners. And I got a number down there of 7/8 of an inch this way. So I got to make sure this wall is 7/8 of an inch that way. And then we'll kind of do that all the way around to see where my corners are. As I'm pretty happy my block lengths, there should be within 1/8 of an inch of what they need to be. And so this is where we're at. We're going to set these corners and kind of get some spray foam, I think, and we'll lock it down once we get them set, at least mark them. So there's exactly 1 inch. Where's the dot? There's the dot. So I got 7/8 of an inch there. I'm 7/8 of an inch the other way down there. So I'm writing this down because it's getting complicated. So that's perfect. So here's kind of what I got done. The puppy's going to help. But I've used the strings and Doug's laser, and I've marked every corner to where the strings cross. You know, I'm hoping that they made the strings pretty accurate. So I've marked every corner, and this one was the best corner to say 0. So this is 0, 0. And if you measure down to the other end, it feels like we're maybe a quarter short in length overall. So I'm maybe a quarter short off of that 0. But this line here is 0 this way, and maybe a quarter short that way. And then we go down this run, and I'm 0 to this edge at that corner. I really need to stack the second stack up here, so I kind of lock some of these things in because there's just a little bit of play just about everywhere down the runs. And until I kind of get that second layer locked in and they all kind of lock in, I probably won't be able to absolutely know where this, where everything is until then. But I'm reasonably close. I'm within a quarter inch in every dimension. And I need to be 3 blocks or maybe another block higher to be able to shoot my diagonals over all the dirt on the inside. So that's kind of my next step here, is we got to start loading rebar, which I have started loading rebar into this course. I don't think I got to do them every other course. So I might put another row of rebar in this side because there's so many door openings on this side. I might put another row in here just because there's so many windows and stuff, just to keep it stable. But then the real next one, the third course, we're going to have to start measuring and marking off where all of our doors are, because we'll be getting into our door openings at that point. So, next step here is to finish rebarring this course and start stacking the next one. Alright, we're stacking our second course, starting down here. Start at the other end. This has a little nub sticking out, so each block has one of these, and this clip goes behind that nub and then snaps into behind this nub, and so it locks that in place.
You're locking in the corner unit.
This is the corner, yeah. So I'm gonna reach down there and see if I can lock the bottom one without getting hung by the spring. Because I didn't do the bottom one. Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, is that going to make it all stronger?
That's going to hold. Well, that's not where a corner is. How about this corner down here?
Oh, because you staggered your corner pieces.
Yeah. And they come out real easy.
But it works. Good concept.
I like it.
So far, so good, huh?
Yeah. Maybe. There we go. And don't drop anything down in these holes.
There forever?
It's going to be there forever. So this is called a ladder. It's supposed to have a 12-inch overlap because they're 10 foot long. so they say. I haven't really taken a tape measure. And they sit right here on top of the plastic webs, and they help straighten out. So if you look down this way, sight down that way, and you see how kind of wavy it is? And then sight back this way, and see how kind of straight it is? That's what it is. That's what it helps do, is it helps give it a little bit of rigidity and try to see all these blocks, not all of them, some of them are bowed a little bit. And so they have a little swell or a little sway. And obviously stacking more on top will get them out, but this little piece of ladder piece here will really straighten it up. This tall guy here is our ground GFI safety strap. It's tied into the rebar of our footings, so it's grounded. It's grounded really good. So we're gonna, after our fourth course, so third course is about here, probably 6-8 inches into the fourth course, we're gonna bend it and then cut it so it sticks out of the block, and then we'll route out a hole in the foam to put a box in so it's accessible. That's what the rules say. All right, happy day 2. We got 2 full courses in. We got the ladders in. We got a few clips in the corners. And we need a level. I think I can see all the 3rd level up layers. So now we can run a tape to check how square we are. So I think I can see maybe a little bit of rock air in the way. But basically, this is floor height, is what we're thinking. We might come down 3 or 4 inches, but all the doors, we're gonna cut out the door bottoms between 8 and 10 inches for reinforced concrete so that you're not stepping on this foam going in and out of the door, especially where the garage doors, where the cars are gonna go. You know, we'll probably do 10 inches there. But anyway, so we're gonna start mapping out where all the windows and doors go. 4th layer will have probably window bottoms in it. I'll have to look on the drawings and see, maybe 5th, but depends where we put the floor. We wanted to be up in the air a little bit just to keep from flooding. And so that corner, watch the strings. This corner down here, the far corner, is our basis for the high point or the low point, because the ground is higher on this side than it is on that side, so we have to be high enough on this side to make sure the porch has got a good slope away, and then another 20 feet or so of slope to a swell to keep all the water away. But so this is kind of the important corner. So we'll see. We need to get a level, a laser, and beep, 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 and see where we're at. This back wall has 1 door in it, so we'll have to find where that is. But getting there. We can get 3 layers up tomorrow and start working on all these door cuts and window cuts. Get the 4th and maybe a 5th layer. I'd like to go as high as we can, just to get as much as we can on this pour. So anyway, where's a week in? We got a little bit of progress. finish stacking the blocks for the foundation and do our first pour. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, let's get back to work.